Okay, yeah. So this video I wanted to make about thinking about the common trend that I find living in Prague, at least. The trend that I see here, like every woman, every tier of woman has generally like the same thing that they do. Now, what I notice here in Prague is this will apply to any city. I mean, I'm sorry, to any state or any country that has the capital cities or the bigger cities in it. So, like, so for instance, like Czech Republic, pretty much as far as I know, only it has Prague and then Brno. Let's say like Germany, it has like Berlin, fucking Frankfurt. They have bigger cities there. Like, okay, and I'm from Ohio, so like Ohio, we have Cincinnati, Columbus. Those are the two big hot spots, the two bigger spots where like the higher, the faster city moving people go. So with more money, and this logic can apply to everywhere on the planet that has a capital in it, whether it's a country or if it's a state in the U.S. There's a certain demographic of women who will like they're from these smaller towns. Okay, in America we would call it small town, but in Europe it's like small villages, like just these small little areas, that trickle outside of the big city. And now the thing is in Europe, well, okay, well, I would say in Czech Republic, what I see is this. In Prague, the average wage here is usually about 1,200, between 12 to $1,500 a month. For a typical expat, that's a pretty good wage for a Czech person, for the average Czech person, especially if they don't have any formal education or anything. That's a really good wage. Because a lot of Czech people are making, like, there's applications. A lot of Czech people, they're only making the equivalent of, like, they're making less than $1,000, $1,000 per month in the capital city of Prague. Then as soon as you trickle outside of Prague, people are making $600-700 a month. So when you're dealing with that low amount of money, an extra $400, that's a lot of money. So what I find here, and the same similar can be possibly said for the U.S. I think the U.S. is a little more spread out with money. So I don't think that specific part maybe not the same as the U.S. Because I'm from Ohio, and it was pretty much the same thing. Well, I can go into intricacies on that, but okay, for the sake of the video, I'm just going to keep it moving. So what I find here is that there's usually two demographics of women that do what the title said that I made this video of: get the baby to go back to the village. And it usually happens. For the younger women who fall into that category, those were the women. Okay, here in Czech Republic, like I said, previous videos, the women here are naturally capital city ready because they have much better diets. They walk, they're already skinny, so all they got to do is throw on a tight pair of pants and some heels, and like that, they can go hop in a major city. Where in the U.S., like women from like Hamilton, Ohio, aren't ready to go to just Cincinnati like that. And and turn head, still be able to turn heads and stuff like that. Because American women, it is what it is. American women are naturally fat. They're naturally more stupid. So like they have to work a little bit. But it can happen. It does happen. But nowhere. I don't think it can happen at anywhere near the same efficacy rate as it happens in Prague, or like where I would guess Europe, because women here, they're naturally I say Central Europe and Eastern Europe because they're naturally better looking. But so the younger population, what they'll do is some rich guys, maybe not even a rich guy, just some guy who says he lives in the capital city will outreach to some girl in Českolipa, in some smaller village. And see, just for the fact that this guy is living in Prague, he is automatically sexually attractive to those women. You see, because Prague is that step up. It's that next step up. And like I said, here I think it works more smoothly here because the women can walk in the door and just keep up with capital city women here. Whereas in the U.S., you take a woman from, like I said, from Hamilton, Ohio, she's going to be intimidated by New York City women. So she may not want to go there because of that. But if she's pretty and attractive, then she's all good. And these are the women I'm talking about. So what'll happen is like those women will mess with like the bigger city guys, and in a lot of cases they'll get pregnant, and then usually see once the woman gets pregnant, they realize, I can't keep up with these city women. If he found me on, on online dating or whatever the fuck, he can just go find something else that looked like what I used to look like. So I better go run back to the village. And there's a lot of girls in villages, man. There's a lot of girls in villages around here who fell for that. They came to Prague to party and hooked up with that American man or UK man. And, because he was the exotic thing, and he probably threw around an extra $200, which, like I said, the average wage in these small villages is $600 a month. So if you throw around $200, like without a care on a Friday night because you were having fun, that's hypergamy at work right there. You are the man to her. You see, so you're automatically on that in her scope of man to of possible mating material just because of that. So the younger girls, that's usually what happens to them. Now the older women who just want babies, and my ex-wife was actually one of these, and that's pretty much why she had a kid. Because like I said, she was 32 when I met her, and she had a 1-year-old when I met her. So she was older. You see what I'm saying? She was older when she had her kid. And this is what I'm saying. This is going to be a next demographic overall I'm talking about, because I've watched other American men fall for this same thing. I fell for it, but I didn't get sucked into it. And I didn't get my ex-wife pregnant. But other American men and UK men, like I watch them do it. Like, and it's happened in a total, I say about 7 times since I've been here in 3 years. That people who I've seen personally, I've heard other stories of it happening, but who I've seen personally go through it. It's the same thing. When women start hitting 20, this is why I say never marry a woman too far over 25, 26 years old. Because after that, is her constant clock of getting things done starts to happen. So what the older woman does, first, let's use my ex-wife as an example. Same thing. She's from a small village. She's getting older, so she's probably been divorced once, maybe even twice. She's getting passed up by men because she's getting older. She may still look good, but she's just getting older. So she starts going to Prague, or the capital city, and then she's going to put on her best face forward, because why? She's getting older, so she's trying to at least get a man to pay her attention to put a baby in her. Okay. She really doesn't care. These girls really don't care about the husband. This is why I say never marry a woman over 25, 26, because see, everything that they're wanting is to make them look better in life. You see, because they've already messed up, their prime 16 to 25 years. So now it's just all on a clock to try to make it better, to make it look like I was destined for a perfect future type of thing. So, and once women's minds hit that, they never really go back. And then usually the next step after that is, because most of them will fuck it up. The next step after that is, I just lived my happiest life, and I love my job, and I love my house, and blah, blah, blah. You see, that's usually the next step for them to cope with their failure in life as a woman. You see, that's usually the next step. But okay, back to my ex-wife. What she did, she goes to Prague. She's going to be the nicest, best acting woman because she's older. She has to do something to get men's attention. So she's going to present herself. She's going to always be presenting. She's going to always having her best face. She's always going to she's good. These are going to be. I'm telling you, when they get older, this is why I say never marry these women. They're the best fucks, because like I said in a previous video, women only know how to act when their self-esteem is taking a hit in some way. That's the only time women genuinely become halfway decent beings on the planet. It's just the reality of their nature. If she's equal to you or she's above you, her self-esteem isn't taking a hit, she has no reason to be nice to you. You see what I'm saying? She has no reason to do it, because see, women they're always looking for something more. So, like I said, unless her self-esteem took a hit, she's ugly. She has 3 kids. She's older. She's fat. Those are the women who will generally act better. And even then, you got some who still like some of them, it still doesn't register that they're fucked up yet. And they still think they're worth a lot because like, there's always that beta guy who's validating her no matter what she does. So some girls, they never fully grow out of it. But other girls grow to be able to look around and say, oh, like, Susie, Sarah, and Danielle, they grew out of this and they moved to another level. So I need to catch up with them, so I'm still not shit. So back to the ex-wife. So she's going to eventually, if she's decent looking and she's always smiling and she's always letting, welcoming and all that, she's going to attract the guy, right? It's just how it goes. So then what happens is, of course, the guy's going to have sex with her, and she's probably not even going to want to use condoms, and he's going to end up drunk or just super horny one night and do it without a condom and put a baby in her. See, now the reality is when you get with older women like this, see, that after that baby, that's the end for you. All right. when you get with these older women, that's the end for you. Okay. Now, if you just kind of hang around and just keep handing them money every month, that's a benefit for her. But even then, like a lot of women, they're not really on that, especially like what I've seen here in Czech Republic. They'll come here, run that game, and then they're running right back to that small village because they got what they were after. They were after that baby. You see what I'm saying? They were after, because this also is a common thing around the world. Once women start getting older and men have passed them up, every woman thinks that having kids will fix their sadness in life. Every woman does. And I remember a girl from high school. I watched her go through this like on her Facebook post. She was happy. She was unhappy in life, unhappy. And like what most women, okay, in America, what they're going to do? They're going to find the first street thug they could find to come pump her up with sperm every other night to hope she gets pregnant. And then 2 weeks after the baby's born, the dad's gone. And she's right back to posting, why am I so unhappy in life? You see what I'm saying? You're unhappy in life because you squandered your peak years where you were throwing them away. That's why you're so unhappy. That on top of society teaching you to be happy as a man, you forgot how to even be happy as a woman. You see, and the women just become so confused and distraught that this is where the excessive wine drinking, the 4 and 5 prescription medications come into play. The lashing out at her friends who are married with children or her mother and father. That's where all this comes from. See, this new wave, and see, like with Facebook and Instagram, with social media, see, women around the world are slowly becoming westernized because they're learning from Instagram, they're learning from Facebook, they're learning from internet porn, what guys want to see, what guys like, what they can get away with if they look a certain way and they shake their ass a certain way, what they can get away with which quality of man. You see, they're learning this, so they're becoming westernized. So even if you go to these poor countries, those women know what it is for real. Like they know the reality of why you're there. See, they're not stupid when it comes to gaining resources. Every woman instinctively has a Sherlock Holmes mentality about her. Okay, now it's how she executes her thought process is what'll put her in the relative market, versus how she looks and how she carries herself. All of that we determine. But all women, like they know what it take. They know the inner workings of what gets more resources. Because the core exchange between man and woman is this. The core exchange is this. A woman looks, and this has literally been studied throughout the history of sex. And this is how like wigs were first created. This is where women wearing a lot of makeup was first created. This is where women, if you look back in old dresses, they would wear metal cages that would like hike their boobs up or make their butts look bigger. And I mean, you could look through old paintings and find this shit because the constant logic that both sides have created is starting off with a woman, a man will like me if I can maintain my youth and beauty. And for a man, a woman will like me if I can maintain resources. And once those two things are gone, in either one of sexes, both their values just plummet. It's just what it is. And some guys they never were born into, or they never got lucky enough, or they never earned the proper resources to get a higher quality woman. And a lot of women, we were born into bad genetics to get a higher quality man. It's just how the game plays out. But yeah, I watch that all the time. Back to the original topic with women, like they go hit up these major cities in hopes that a man that they, I'm saying they're going to be the nicest women. They're going to be the nicest women on the planet. They'll probably walk up to you with a beer. They'll be the nicest women on the planet because they're after something. See, like I said before, the only time women act like they have any common sense is when something about their self-esteem is taking a hit. That's the only time. It's the only time they act like they have any bit of sense. In most cases, their self-esteem had to have taken a hit. If they are operating at full steam and you are at best equal to her, you're just something that can be discarded. And we don't really care about you. I'm not dressing up for him, none of that. Because like I told my dad, man, like I'm sure he probably already knew this, but we talk about stuff like this. I said, look, women are going to act based off how much money they think is in the room. That's just it. As a perfect example, I'll probably be going too deep into my own past, but because my brother was just one of those dudes, honestly, and this is fucked up to say it, but it's the truth, man. He really peaked in high school. He was one of those dudes. He was cool back in those years, always getting in trouble. It was cool to get in trouble back then. He really peaked. So now, it's the same story. He works at pizza joints, shit like this. So, basic jobs you can get when you were 16. So, like, I watch how like close people treat me and him. Like, they will literally just say we don't want him to come, but I'm always welcomed. You see what I'm saying? Because my past has pretty much proven myself. I mean, I went to college. I got 4 different degrees. I was briefly in the military. I travel around the world. I can speak, very shittily multiple languages. And then when I walk in the room, I'm always wearing expensive suits and driving a BMW. So me as a man, what men have to offer speaks for itself. There's at least some value there. So I can get away with I get away with saying much worse shit because I fulfill my role as a man. Whereas him, for as how the world's going to judge a man, he doesn't fulfill that. You see, so he's just like, get him out, get him out. That's just how the world works. And it's the same thing. And it's the same thing equivocally with a woman. If a woman's beautiful, she's always welcomed anywhere. Unless she's like even if she's a known trouble starter, she's always a beautiful woman is always welcome. A youthful, beautiful woman is always welcomed everywhere on the planet. And it won't stop until she starts to lose that youth and beauty. Then it slowly starts to trickle away. And it's the same thing with a man. Once it becomes clear, this man, either he doesn't have anything or there's no potential for him to get anything else in the future, he slowly becomes discarded. You're useless. You're worthless. Now, with the baby situation, like I said, now when women hit, but see, back to the original topic, when women in this baby situation, when they start getting older with this, you see, they've already the reason why the game changes at this point, let's say when they're like 26 and up, the reason why it changes for them is for multiple reasons. And I'm going to try to, if I can remember them while I'm talking, I'll try to touch on them. See, it changes because women always know where they stand based off their looks. A lot of times they deep down, they always really know. Even like when they're ugly in like Columbus, Ohio, see, she knows she's ugly, but she may have her head hyped because, she's getting around in Columbus. But see, that woman will never travel to Los Angeles, or she will never, because she knows those are higher physically quality women. And she cannot compare with that. But see, when they're ugly, see, they can still even have a little snooty attitude in Columbus, Ohio. You see, as long as they stay in that little world, she can still kind of, she's ugly, but she'll still treat men like shit. She can keep that up in Columbus, but as soon, like I say, bring up, we should go to New York City. I'll pay for your ticket. She does not want to go. She does not, and that's exactly why. She's not going to admit it, but that's it. Now, with the women who are like 26 and above who do what I say with this title said, come here, get the baby, and back to the village. See, she has come to these women and I'm older have officially come to the conclusion that if she does get a man, it's going to be pretty much out of luck. Any decent quality man who, like I said, who either has something or has the potential to have something, it's going to be a lower quality guy than what she's probably was used to get when she was 22. On top of that, she knows, okay, one, she's already lower quality because she's older. Two, once she gets pregnant, her value is just going to plummet simply because of that. Unless she gets into these fetish groups of guys who like to fuck pregnant girls, which is fine for the guy. I mean, I'm not faulting that, but that's just the reality. So from her perspective, she's pretty much running away from the capital city at this point. And see, and with the guys who I know who's like this, see, guys, they just want to see their son or daughter. You see, that's what it is. So the woman usually runs up. She's usually either immediately running back to that small village, or she's working on going back to the small village. Either way, she's going back to that small village. Okay, especially if she was from there, that's where she's going. And she has family out there too. Oh, she's definitely going back there because see, out there she can still be of some value. See, here in Prague, all it takes to hop on Tinder real quick or something like that, and you're gonna find something that looks way better than her, and she's gonna know it. So for her, for 26 and up, it's pretty much over. I ran into one woman. I lived in a small village just to try it out, because very few people spoke English. I was obviously the only black guy there, but I tried it out, and I lived there for about a year, and I ran across one woman. I could look at her and tell exactly what she was. And she actually spoke English, which I wasn't shocked because I could look at her and tell she used to be beautiful. She used to be the it girl. I could look at her and tell. You could tell like when her lips have been deflated from all the years of Botox, and her face is starting to sink because she kept getting Botox injections to keep it full. And then she had just simply aged out. She was like, she told me she was 37, 38, but no, that bitch was probably about 45, 46. And even then, okay, she looked a lot older. But after hearing her talk, I say she's probably about 45, 46. And she was one of those types of women. She ran, and I heard her story. She ran around Prague, and she never went to college. Why should she go to college? She was young and beautiful. She could just get some guy to pay her shit while she worked some menial job to survive in Prague, you see? And I think she said she even went to the UK for a while, worked there. But she said what happened was, like I said, she got older. So the reality of it is, see, when she was beautiful, she can keep infiltrating these different worlds. But as she started to age and get older, she was only being wanted for what she can actually, literally offer on an intellectual level, or what I should say, on an educational level. And and when she kept talking, she said she never went to college, and places just aren't going to hire you. I mean, her English was great. Like I could tell she wasn't a fluent English speaker, but she was like conversing well. And she knew what I was saying. I didn't feel like she didn't know what I was saying. It was great, but she couldn't even work as a translator because she didn't have a piece of paper to say she could be a translator. That's what she told me. I don't know if that's true or not. But long story short, that was how she ended up back in a small village because she got older. Her value plummeted. Nobody wants to look at her anymore. You see, now, even now, if she had got some education, she could have spun it off on that. But no education, then you end up old and ugly, and you have no real skills but to look cute, but you're just old and ugly now. Well, you're just useless as a woman. See, and the same thing, see, that just is what it is. But no, back to the topic. Yeah, that's a common situation, man. The girls, they're if they feel like they can keep up with the women in these capital cities and these big name places, they'll go there with the sole intention of getting a man who is of higher quality than the men around her to impregnate her. And and not long after that impregnation occurs, she's running back to that village because see, in that, I'm rambling on a long time now. In that small village, or let's say in Columbus, relative to New York City, Columbus, Ohio, or let's say relative to Cincinnati, let's say Hamilton, Ohio, in that area, she could be, queen. You see, and out here, see, in Czech Republic, in Česká Lípa, that girl could be the queen there. She has guys chasing after her, buying her free drinks all the time, waiting where she's at, turn their head to look at her every time she walks down the street. See, she's a queen out there. But when they come to major metropolises like this, it plummets. It really does. And they don't like it. They only like it because, like I said, they come out here looking to get lucky with that higher quality man. and only if they feel like they can at least somewhat kind of compete, with the women on a physical level where they're going. And then once they get lucky and get that higher quality man to fuck her and put a baby in her, she's running right back off to that village. And then that's how the guy usually ends up mad and fucked up because he can't go out there to see his daughter. But the guy doesn't want to go out and live in that village. He wants to stay in these metropolises because it's just more beautiful women out here and it's more for him to do. So it really ends up fucked up, man. I've seen too many guys go through. I know I'm thinking of one guy specifically. Like, he's just going through because he just wants to see his daughter, man. And like, he doesn't care about anything else in life. He just wants his daughter. And women, like I said, if you get an older woman pregnant, they don't give a fuck what you want. It's what they want, and to build their life into being this happy ever after story, which it won't be happy ever after because they had to get pregnant when they were older in the first place. You see, like, it's a big, man. It's just a mess, honestly.